TC Sports. My name is Jacob Blitzine alongside Aaron Klinker, Andrew Schultz, and the Phil Fathman. Boys, how are we doing?
I've been better.
Skull.
Yeah, all right.
The one league on Legacy I was supposed to win, I didn't win. The one I wasn't supposed to win, I won. That just shows you how crazy of a weekend I felt it was.
Hey, but how about them Detroit football team? Let's go. 1-point victory over asterisk game of the Kansas City Chiefs. The asterisk game. Because their best player was hurt.
I don't think it would have made a difference.
No, not really. It was a good game. But we are back. PC Sports back with the second week of college football and recapping that. And then going to NFL and getting the NFL stats. So, boys, ready to dive deep?
Yeah.
Andrew, you look ready.
Very ready.
Ooh, look at that. And then we have Phil with his clothes hanging behind him. Okay, so let's talk about college football and recapping week 2. We're going to go around and give you our biggest winners and our biggest losers after week numero dos. Let's start with Andrew Schultz.
My biggest winner is going to be we're gonna go, even though they lost the football game, my biggest winner is going to be Baylor. They rebounded from a bad loss against Texas State and played a Utah team, which I think is very good. And they played them well down to the wire. They actually had a controversial play in the end zone that may or may not should have been called for pass interference. But they rallied back after getting upset week 1. And even at 0-2, they still showed that they are very competitive and can beat someone on their day. And then my biggest loser, I'm going to go with Alabama. I think them as a whole, they just looked, their defense lacked like an edge. It just seemed very flat at times. It seemed like they weren't playing through the whistle. They would, once a guy was wrapped up by one guy, the rest of the team just kind of backed off. They played really soft in the secondary. I mean, Ewers passed all over them. And then offensively, Milroe needs to get better at throwing the ball. He just wouldn't hit targets that he needed to hit, and then he would just hang on to the ball for way too long. You need to make your read and get the ball out quick, especially against a pass rush like that. And he was just hanging on to it for way too long. So that's my biggest winner, even though they lost, Baylor, and my biggest loser being Bama, because it did not look like a typical Bama team.
No, and Andrew and I pretty much watched, not pretty much. We watched football on FaceTime this entire weekend. And we're just talking about like literally everything and anything that was happening. And we both were very surprised with Baylor and how they bounced back after losing to, what did they lose to? Texas State? Yeah, so great comeback win. They looked a lot better. And again, don't overlook week 1 and anything that happens, because that happens. And Bama, they're just, there's Bama teams that you're scared. Like, you walk on the field and you're like, oh my gosh, like, this is scary to watch. They're just not there. They don't hit people. They don't scare you. And I'll be completely honest. You could say that with all of college football. There is no like scary team anymore, and it goes back to NIL. You're divvying out these great players and this talent. And I think it's just like there's really no there's no team that you're like they're scary. Georgia 2 years ago might have been the last team that you could say that. Last year's Georgia team was not that scary. So unless anyone wants to add anything to that. Yeah. So anyways, Aaron, thoughts? Biggest winner, biggest loser of week numero dos.
I think the biggest winner was, and this is going to sound very stereotypical, but Texas. A lot of people, including myself, didn't pick them to win. I figured it would be a close loss, kind of like last year, but here we are. And I think, well, I don't really have a biggest loser. Andrew kind of took mine, but I guess it would be Alabama. I know there are a bunch of other big winners. I realize that, but Texas is like just the headline that's all you see all over ESPN right now is, oh, Texas back, Texas back. Let's calm down, all right? They can still go 8-4.
Yep, I mean, is it safe to say horns up, Texas is back, or is it still too early? It's still too early. That's going to be the question.
Let's
I think
hold off until they beat Wyoming or Texas Tech or something.
Yeah, because that's the deal breaker. Texas looked really good. They definitely don't look like the Texas of the past couple of years. They're starting to look in the right direction to back when they were, winning natties. But I just don't know if it's quite there yet. And honestly, like I said before, I don't know if you could quite say that someone is going to. Like, I don't think there is a definite national champion at this moment in week 2. Like, I think there's just so much to look at. I mean, you know who your top 4 probably is. Like, as of right now, you have Georgia, you have Florida State, you have Texas, you have Michigan, possible Ohio State, USC, Washington. I mean, they're all pretty much the top 8 to 10. Like, you could say, oh, they could be in the top 4. And then that's when you start to really divvy out as we get closer.
I mean, Florida State looks like the most complete team in college football, I'd say. Texas, I'm still a little. Texas can be, but I'm still a little worried about inconsistent play that we saw a lot last year, and it's too early to tell if they got rid of that or if they still have that. But I'd say Florida State's definitely the most complete team. You look at that team, and it's like there's not really a big weakness. Like Michigan, our big weakness is our kicker. I mean, as simple as it sounds, like kickers are important in college football, but like with Florida State, it's like you look at every position group and they're tough, they're good. So, I mean, Georgia, it's like, hey, still not sure about their quarterback, still maybe not sure about their wide receivers. And then you look at, USC, it's like, is their defense fixed? Or is it just their offense masking all the problems right now? And then, like you said, Jacob, like top 8 teams, maybe even the top 10, maybe even the top 13 can all kind of jump in there, and we might see a 2-loss team in the college football playoff this year.
Yeah, I think it goes back to them expanding into 12 teams is, in the end, I think a good idea based on performance. I mean, now you see, especially with the expansion of the 12 teams, which happens next year, you're gonna see a lot of talent say, well, like, I could go to Bama, be a 4-string, get $2 million NIL, and then transfer to closer to home, which could be UC, and I'm going to go, a 5-star recruit, ends up at Alabama. Congratulations, you recruited well. But then you lost that player, and they transferred to UC. Those are just the 2 teams I'm using. But you start to see it divvy out. That's why Wyoming is beating a Power 5 school. Now, I'm not saying that as directly from the NIL, but I think there's some tie into it somewhere. And the transfer portal, especially, like, it's just like free agency nowadays. Like, you can go whenever, to an extent. Cool. Phil Fathman, your biggest winner and biggest loser of College Football Week 2.
Alrighty. So, I'm going to go a little bit out of the box on my picks. I'm going to go with Texas A&M on a big loss here.
A big
On-
loss, meaning they're the biggest loser.
I'd say they're a big loss. I wouldn't say they're the biggest loser, but I will say that seeing them lose to Miami was quite a interesting thing. As their team was pretty well built last year. Um, and I think one of the biggest wins out of the night was probably Oregon beating out Texas Tech. Same reasoning. Oregon didn't have the best season last year. They weren't bad by any means, but it's nice to see them um, back up there a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, Oregon, Oregon almost had that out of the bag. It took them outscoring Texas Tech 20-3 in the fourth quarter to get the win. I think Andrew and I were watching that pretty closely. Texas Tech is a good football team. Don't underestimate their week 1 loss. And Wyoming is a good football team. So don't underestimate the Wyoming Cowboys. Because they're a good team, and Texas Tech is also a good team, and so is Oregon. But Texas Tech starts 0-2, and their season seems to be slipping through as we go. And then A&M. Oof. Imagine paying your coach almost $10 million a year, fully guaranteed, and you just suck. I mean, Texas A&M does not suck. They're a lot better than they were last year. Don't get me wrong. Like, they look a lot better. They actually have an offense with some awareness of what's happening compared to last year when they lost. Was that last year they lost to App State? I think Aaron and I were together when that happened. I mean, well, we were just laughing, rolling on the floor. Like, how do you lose to App State? I know I'm a Michigan fan. Do not bring it up. Do not bring it up.
I mean, North Carolina almost did this week, too.
2 years in a row.
App State plays North Carolina tough for whatever reason.
It's at App State. They're Appalachian Mountains right there. Gets scary. So, love it, Phil. Thanks for chiming in there. So, my biggest loser, Nebraska. Nebraska, what are you doing? You brought in Matt Rule, which, to defend Matt Rule and Nebraska a little bit, when someone tanks your program over the last 2 coaching jobs, it takes a lot to get back up. Let's look at Michigan, for example. 2 bad coaches back to back. Well, we'll say 1 bad coach and 1 coach that just couldn't win on Saturdays. One recruited well on offense, and very, very badly on defense. So, but in the end, it tanked the program. And look, it took Harbaugh how many tries to beat Ohio State and get to the Big Ten championship and get to the playoff and do all these things. I mean, it takes time to get to where you are. I mean, Harbaugh's first 2 years, I think, were a little inflated because of the talent that was already there. Like I said, Hoke recruited well. And then his 3rd year, quarterback injuries it took 6-7 seasons to get a good quarterback. Like, it takes time. So, to defend Matt Rule in Nebraska, it's going to take a couple years for them to get to where they want to be. And I think Nebraska fans are pushing a little too hard to get to national championship caliber again.
But Matt Rule, at the end of the day, you have to look at that Minnesota game. Your quarterback has thrown 3 interceptions, and then he goes and throws a 4th to lose the game, and then he throws another really bad interception, fumbles the ball 3 times. Like, you can't keep expecting him to make a change on the field. Like, at least for morale, throw in the backup, see what he can do. Like, if he's not turning the ball over, you're in the positive. If you don't turn the ball over against Minnesota, you beat Minnesota, you're 1-1. I don't think you're beating Colorado even with the turnovers, or even without the turnovers. But, you just can't keep a quarterback in that keeps giving the ball away. Because Nebraska's got a good defense. Like, their defense is a lot better than what the points Colorado put up on them said. But, like, when you're on the field constantly, you're gonna get tired. You're gonna get worn down, and that's when big plays happen. Especially when your quarterback, fumbles inside your own 30, then fumbles inside your own 40, throws an interception inside your own 35. Like you just can't keep a quarterback in that is just making crucial mistakes.
Right. Well, and to piggyback off of your point, if you're gonna stick with him, you need to work on not doing that in practice. Like clearly from week 1 to week 2, ball security did not change. Like that should be the week that's like, let's go, figure it out. And if it's not, the backup can't be much worse. And if it is, then you have a very big problem. And like you got to work on these things in practice. Like if that dude needs to walk around with a ball in his hand, showering, sleeping, walking around campus, whatever he needs to do, then you need to do it. And they do that. I'm pretty sure they do that. Like they do something with ball security. I mean, heck, just what's his name? Josh Allen needs to figure out ball security. Good lord. I digress. We'll get to that later. My biggest winner, Andrew, it's literally like stabbing me in the heart to say this, like, but them Fighting Irish from South Bend.
Hey, it doesn't pay me to say it at all. Notre Dame's got a good squad this year.
Notre Dame, they're my biggest winner. It might not have been the best win. I mean, obviously, everyone's going to say Texas, so like you got to spice it up a little bit. But Notre Dame, another blowout, pretty much. Blowout win.
Well, a lot of postpones that takes effect on a team. Like it's hard to keep your team motivated after all those lightning delays and all that. So props to Notre Dame for keeping mentally focused on the football game, because it's really hard when you go, full go, all right, stop for extended period of time, full go again, stop for extended period of time, full go. So props to Notre Dame and Morgan Freeman. Forget his first name.
Marcus Freeman.
Marcus Freeman, thank you.
You said Morgan Freeman.
I knew it started with an M.
I was like, he just hit Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, Morgan Freeman, head coach of Notre Dame.
I mean, he's done it all. Might as well, right?
Props to him for keeping his team in it and winning the game against a solid ACC opponent. I don't think they're as good as all these announcers were hyping NC State up to be, but a lot better than, UNLV. So,
but them Buckeyes come to town in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
How's that going to go?
It's going to be tough. It's going to be a fun matchup, though.
Great game to watch. It's going to be a great top 10 matchup to watch. I'm really excited. And then the following week, they head to North Carolina to face Duke. So, big matchups happening with Notre Dame next couple weeks. And then a couple weeks after Duke, they bring in the South Californians from the University of Southern Carolina, California, whatever. Morgan Freeman, okay? Anyways, my biggest winner was Notre Dame. They got a good squad this year, like Andrew said. So, we love to see it. So, to kind of look to week 3, what are the games that you guys are looking at and looking forward to this week? Just give one game that you're excited to see. I'm excited. Oh my gosh. I'm excited to watch, which, I mean, I'm a little less excited now because their head coach just got suspended, but I'm really excited for Washington and Michigan State this week. I think that's going to be a great matchup. It would have been better if Michigan State had a coach, but here we are. I still think that's going to be a great game. Washington heading to the great state of Michigan in September. I'm really excited for that game. Andrew, what game are you excited for?
I mean, there's not a lot to choose from here in week 3 of college football.
Come on.
I'm going to go 2 unranked teams, 2 very iffy teams, but Backyard Brawl is back, West Virginia.
Ooh.
And that's always a fun game. So
love that.
I think that'll be exciting to watch. I won't be able to watch it live, but I will be catching the highlights as soon as I get back.
We love a good Backyard Brawl. Great game. Phil Fathman, what game are you excited for this weekend? I know you're really excited for UCLA, North Carolina Central. I mean, whew.
No.
Them birds.
Oklahoma and Tulsa. That's my pick.
Oklahoma and Tulsa. Okay.
Even though Tulsa's unranked at the moment, still has a pretty solid team.
Oklahoma might put them over a table. Not gonna lie.
Maybe.
But here we are. Aaron, what game are you excited for? UConn plays FIU this weekend. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
All right. So the first game I'm actually somewhat excited for is Kansas State and Missouri. It's been a long time since those teams have played, and it's good to see that rivalry coming back potentially, depending on how this game goes. I feel like K-State might blow them out of the water, but who knows? And then my other matchup that I think a lot of people are overlooking just because of how this Florida team. Oh, spoiler alert! It's Florida Tennessee.
Nice. I think that'd be a good game. Also, kind of another underrated game. LSU at Mississippi State. Look out for that one. Them Bulldogs from Mississippi State. And no, I don't bring them because I'm 2 hours away from it, but Mississippi State could pull that off. You never know. So, did anyone else have anything to add to that?
I think LSU or Tennessee, Florida will be interesting because Tennessee looked really bad against Austin Peay last week. So that could be interesting. I also think South Carolina, Georgia could be a little fun. Georgia's kind of first non-sleep through warm-ups. Let's go out there and just practice opponent. So I think if Georgia's favored, I think 27.5 by Vegas lines, which I think is a little deceiving because I think South Carolina is a lot better than that Week 1 loss against North Carolina. But if they didn't fix the offensive line issues, it's going to be bad. But I think it could be a sneaky fun matchup.
For sure. And I really I don't know if someone said it already, but Louisville heads to Bloomington, Indiana to face Indiana, which I think could be a great matchup. I think those are pretty evenly matched teams. And then Syracuse heads to Purdue, to West Lafayette, Indiana, which again, Purdue might not be as good as they were in the past, but man, that could be a good matchup. And of course, a matchup I'm not really excited for, and I don't understand why College Game Day is going there. But Colorado State has the Colorado for the College Game Day of the week because apparently there was not a better game to choose. We had to go for the ratings. That was a business decision. Ratings. They said we're going to Colorado. I mean, am I wrong?
No, you're not. Unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but Deion Sanders, he's going to be must-watch TV whether he's playing or coaching. So that's how it's going to be for a while.
Amen. So cool. And Kansas plays Nevada. They might actually beat them they might double the spread.
They got some players that were targeting last week.
Ooh, I forgot.
How long were they suspended for?
There's the first half of the next game. They got targeting the second half.
Jalen Daniels will light that Nevada defense up. I'm not worried. Or Jaden Daniels. I get the names confused because they sound similar. My bad. I'm sorry, Kansas fans. Forgive me, please. I'm one of you.
I'm one of you.
Fake fan. Found him. He's right there.
Where? I literally grew up an hour outside of Lawrence, Kansas.
That's it. Let's see who's really under that mask.
You don't even know quarterbacks.
I mispronounced a quarterback's name. Oh, no. I guess I'm a fake fan, guys. Yep. Exposed. You heard it here first. I'm going away. I'm leaving.
Back to the cornfields.
But imagine your quarterback being named Desmond Ritter.
Well, Phil.
That was that. But anyways, here's a good segue. Oh, hold on. Oh, you can't hear it? That's really amazing. That's
So
so
speaking of LSU, let's talk about the Bengals. Joe Burrow, why couldn't you throw worth a shit?
Hold on, that was my segue.
Expedia members.
Oh,
Travel.
well, that didn't work.
Way to get this taken down for copyright, but
No, we get the ad revenue.
we can't do that. We don't have Turn it off. Turn it off.
Ad revenue.
That's copyright.
That's okay. All right, NFL is back, baby. Are we ready for the NFL's best with Aaron Klinker? Was he ready? Let's give him a round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you. I actually have, I'm not sure if it's because of the light in my eyes or if these are actual tears. I'll let you guys know. All right. So the NFL is back and I'm depressed. I'll get to why. Okay, we all know why. All right, let's just rip off the Band-Aid. No, we can leave it on for a little bit. So this past week, we actually had a few interesting games. It is week 1, so teams are going to look rusty. We had the Lions and Chiefs. Andrew Butson, I know you guys were ecstatic after that game. And what else is there to say about this game? And to everyone trying to put an asterisk on this game, I'm looking at you, Thursday Night Football announcers. I don't think it would have made a difference if Travis Kelce was playing. I'm just saying. Like, he would have done his thing. I'm sure. I'm sure he would have done his thing. But I don't think the Chiefs still would have won. Changed my mind. And then, Phil, as you said, Joe Burrow couldn't throw worth a crap. Stop me if you've heard this before. The Bengals have a really bad week 1. And then, boom, everyone's calling Joe Burrow top 3 by like week 8. For anyone saying he's washed, I don't want to hear your mouth come week 8 or week 9 or week 10. Okay? And also, the Browns are built to win. Excuse me. The Browns, thinking about this game just makes me want to fall asleep. The Browns are also built to win games in these types of conditions. So, I don't know. I don't know what you want. And then, time to rip the Band-Aid off. The Buccaneers and Vikings. The Vikings made a bunch of mental errors that can easily be corrected. All right?
Baker.
Please tell me he left. I'm kidding. So yeah, they made a bunch of mental errors, simple mistakes, then get cleaned up. Baker Mayfield, despite being the most mid quarterback of all time, dude's got heart. And he will leave it all out on the field no matter where he's at. So shout out to the Buccaneers for winning. Okay, you capitalized on a bunch of Vikings mistakes. I'll give you that one. Texans, Ravens, it was kind of more of the same for the Texans. I thought Stroud looked semi-comfortable when he wasn't on the ground because of that offensive line. And, yeah.
Stroud in trouble, and Stroud is stacked again. Oh, whoa.
I did see that highlight. Yeah, it's more of the same for the Texans. They still got a lot of work to do, and the Cardinals are probably celebrating right now because they lost too. So, hopefully, And then Ravens. Actually, yeah, Ravens, you guys are almost on IR again. We should just change. We should move you to the IR. Just move your whole team to the IR. The IR Ravens. Okay, the Baltimore IR Ravens. Actually, no, we're taking you out of Baltimore. Titans, Saints. It was kind of a snooze fest, I won't lie, but they got their first win of the Derek Carr era, so good job. Panthers, Falcons. Phil, you want to take this one?
Yeah, as much as I used to be a really big Falcons fan, as much as fan as I am was of them, really, honestly, not very surprising. Carolina, really the only thing they had going for them was Hayden Hurst. And even then, he struggled a lot. So, really was figuring that this would be the outcome of it. Honestly, thought the Falcons would, pull a Browns Bengals on the Panthers, but didn't quite get that far. But overall, exactly what I was looking for.
All right. Thank you, Phil. Thank you. And continuing with our NFL's best, Jags Colts, Calvin Ridley came back. He probably bet on himself to get a touchdown as long as it wasn't in the team facilities. He can't get in trouble. It's all good. And then 49ers, Steelers. Dear God. Dear God. Hey, Pat Pete, I thought you were going to get an interception on Sunday. What happened? Maybe let your game do the talking. Cardinals, Commanders. This was a sloppy game. What? It's the Cardinals. Come on. I thought Sam Howell was getting crushed almost all day behind that terrible, terrible turnstile of an offensive line. So hopefully they get that figured out. Raiders, Broncos. Broncos country was riding for a little bit, and then the car broke down. It wasn't like a crash and burn. None of that. It just, the car broke down. They got to get it fixed. On to the next. Shout out to the Raiders for winning. I really thought Jimmy G was going to be bad.
I will say Garoppolo did a great job stepping into those shoes as their quarterback. So I just wanted that in.
And he didn't get hurt doing it. How about that? Dolphins, Chargers. This was ironically the best game all week. Tua went off. I really hope he can stay healthy. The Chargers, kind of more of the same. They just find ways to lose. I know how that feels.
What's the best game of the week, though? It was a good game.
I agree. Best game. Best game.
But well, okay, I guess in regards to how the teams played, because
it was the cleanest play of football we had all week. Okay, let's be real. Yes, the Lions did win on Thursday. They beat the Chiefs. That's a big win. But both teams did not look at their best. I'm sorry.
I was referring to Monday night.
Well, kind of the same deal with them. I'll be getting to them. Eagles, Patriots. Eagles look kind of rusty also, kind of a bit of a Super Bowl hangover. However, they're playing the Patriots, who are starting a TikTok star as a wide receiver 1. So either he's a charity case or he's an actual football player. I'm not sure. Packers, Bears. Oh, man. Congratulations, Bears. You guys have a new owner. Your old owner is currently in rehab. Rams, Seahawks. To quote Gino, when he got sacked by Aaron Donald, oh my God. And that's how I felt watching this game. The Rams curb stomped the Seahawks. Cowboys, Giants. That's your $160 million man right there, Giants fans. You can thank Ed Donatel for that. He made him look like Joe Montana. So enjoy the shutout. You guys haven't scored all year. That Cowboys defense is scary. Bills, Jets. I think we all were kind of disappointed that we didn't get to see Aaron Rodgers play, me included. I've said some things about him, but hopefully that isn't the last we've seen of Aaron Rodgers. It very well could be, though. And I think Josh Allen just threw another interception.
So, I want to just point out that I love doing this podcast with y'all because when Aaron was talking and things that you would say, Andrew and I we weren't speaking, but we were talking to each other without speaking, and I think we all do that with each other. When you start talking about the Bears.
Yeah, Jacob, how did that week 1 guaranteed victory for the Bears go? What was that about them being better this year? I'm sorry, they have a defense now. Justin Fields is going to be good. I believe those were words that actually came out of your mouth. So why don't we retract those now and we go back to me leaving the room because you said the Bears were going to be good. And I told you the Packers still own them.
Bring the receipts.
Oh, I have the receipts.
Oh yeah, last week's episode. Oh, full timeout or half timeout?
No, I think my prediction about the Bears having a lot of work to do was pretty accurate. Andrew, can we agree? Just nod your head. Thank you. Okay. All right. Back to you, Butson.
I don't think anyone now. I'll retract it a little bit, but I don't think we anticipated Jordan Love to look as good as he did
Okay.
without Christian Watson at that.
I was just about to say that.
Jordan Love
Yeah.
Same
looked
exact
good.
thing.
He did not look great. Obviously, he's missing his number one wide receiver, maybe number two. But him and Dobbs looked like match made in heaven against the Bears. They started off a little slow, but as Jordan Love did he's a very game manager. He just didn't turn the ball over. He didn't target Quay Walker or another defender across the middle of the field, stared him down, and threw a touchdown to him, unlike the opposing team's quarterback. And I don't think it's necessarily Aaron Rodgers who owns the Bears. Obviously,
running
Rodgers
back.
was great against the Bears in his career there. But I think it's just the Packers organization as a whole, since the year 2000, has kind of just owned the Bears in general. They have won now 10 of the last 11 games against the Bears. The last Bears win over the Packers was 2018 when they had their great defense, and they made their run to the playoffs when Cody Parkey famously double doinked, and Nick Foles went to the Super Bowl to beat a man named Tom Brady. So
That's it.
the Packers in general, Bears.
That's it.
I'd like to correct you on that, Andrew. Nick Foles went to the Super Bowl after absolutely dog walking my Vikings defense. That was 2018, January of whatever 2018. I don't remember the date exactly, but that was the what do they call it? The Minneapolis Massacre.
Was that the one?
And we're about to have part 2 of that on Thursday.
Because there was a couple of Minneapolis massacres. One was $160 million quarterback who could not even cross midfield twice against the Cowboys.
So, if you guys were to get what Bears Packers all-time record is, what is your guess? Without looking it up. Phil, you go first.
I don't even know how many games there's been.
All right, I'll tell you how many games they played. They've played. That's a lot of math. They played 207 times.
I'm just gonna give you a percentage here. I want to say the Bears used to be really good when Chicago was in its prime. I'm gonna go with 68% of the time Bears won.
Oh my gosh, make me do math. Okay. Give me like a win-loss record. Who has the most wins?
Bears.
Okay. Andrew, what's your win-loss tie record?
I'm going to go 98 wins for the Packers, 94 wins for the Bears, and then X amount of ties.
Okay. Aaron?
Okay, that took me a second to get my mic unmuted. I'm going to say the Bears own the all-time series, but the Packers are slowly but surely catching up. I don't know how many wins exactly, but
So, there was a total of 6 ties. Packers lead the overall 106-95, which tells you kind of what Andrew said. Before the year 2000, it was like Bears, the Bears. And then in the 2000s to now, it's been the Packers.
And now the Packers are the owners.
The current win streak is Packers up 9, which means the Packers were like up 2 before the win streak. I don't know, but pretty interesting. So, okay, did we get through the NFL's class? Cool.
Yes, we did.
So, Giants, what was that? Like, were you trying? Were you
Overhyped ass team.
now?
I'm sorry. I thought Daniel Jones was going to improve, and he probably will. You know, the Cowboys' defense is legit. I won't lie, but I'm sorry, Giants fans. You guys talking now? You know, like yeah, my team lost, but we didn't get shut out. I mean, damn, at least we made it a game.
I think it's important to note that can't overhype or overlook week one, or go to like there's a big season ahead of us, so we can't get over can't overthink it too much. But
No. I'm only ripping on the Giants because Andrew knows this. A certain Giants fan called me out when they got
uh,
curb stomped by the Eagles the next week, and yeah, so I am relishing in this loss for the Giants. I don't hate all Giants fans, just that one Giants fan. Like he called me out after his team beat mine, and then they got mollywopped the next week. Like, got a spot right for you on the couch, buddy.
Well, Clink, I think you're going to be on a bit of a watch list here because the Vikings do play the Eagles on Thursday night in Philly. So we all know how that goes with Kirk Cousins in primetime games, and especially playing them in Philly.
oh,
You're not wrong. Okay, I don't expect the Vikings to score more than like 14. Okay, I've already accepted it. It is what it is at this point. Schedule's not getting easier. I've been picking against the Vikings all week to try and jinx it. There's nothing like, believe me, if I could work some kind of black magic and have the Vikings beat the Eagles in Philadelphia just once, I wouldn't be complaining. But they did this same exact crap to us for years when we played Seattle. And the one time we played Seattle in Minnesota, kicked the crap out of them. I don't care if they were bad, but I'm just saying, home field advantage is a real thing.
yeah, for sure. I think that'll be a good game. I think it was just again, it's the NFL. Any given Sunday. To wrap it up, let's all go. Let's choose one game that we're really excited for to see this week. Kind of break it down just a little bit, maybe not go too in depth, but just one game that you're really looking forward to seeing. We'll start with Andrew.
Obviously, as a Lions fan, I'm excited for the Lions Seahawks game. Will the Seattle bounce back? Or are they actually the team that we saw against the Rams? And can the Lions keep it up? And can they take advantage of that home field advantage? C.J. Gardner Johnson tweeted out that all Lions fans should buy blue ski masks and wear them to the game. And Amazon is now sold out of blue ski masks. So the Lions are entering their villain arc, and I'm loving it. I'm also excited for Ravens Bengals because it's going to be, are the Ravens just as bad as they were against Houston, and the Bengals just as bad as they were against Cleveland, or is it going to be a bounce back game for both of them?
Nice. Aaron.
I'm excited for, I would say Ravens Bengals, but I get to watch those teams on TV anytime I want. I'm excited for the Chiefs and Jaguars. I know damn well Trevor Lawrence is looking for revenge from last year. And then there was another one. You know what? I'm going to be slightly different here. I'm going to say the Browns and the Steelers because it's always fun when those teams play. It's going to be probably really low scoring. And I mean that for the Steelers because they got dog walked. Like, my God. Okay, anyways, that's enough out of me. But yeah, those are my two games that I want to see.
Phil.
All right. I'm gonna cheat here. I got 3 games I want to see. So the one game I want to see for
You
pure
overachiever.
performance, for pure performance of both teams, I want to see the 49ers and Rams. I think they both had really good weeks last week. And I just kind of want to see how both of them go up against each other because I thought both teams did a fantastic job last week. I also want to see that Jets and Cowboys game. I think that was a very good game. Both of them had very good games in their own rights. But I just want to see exactly how strong this Cowboys defense is against a relatively decent offense. And then I am very much looking forward to the Giants Cardinals game, but not because it's going to be entertaining for any actual points being made. It's just how shitty can two shitty teams be? That's what I'm really excited to see.
Bleep, bleep, bleep.
That's a good idea for a game show. I won't lie.
Cincinnati beats Detroit. Let's go. We're
What?
doing it. We're doing it. We are making the MLB playoffs.
Oh, okay. You're talking about baseball. I'm confused. I don't. Do the Lions and Bengals even play each other this year?
I have no idea.
No, Reds are still gonna. They're choking down the stretch. We all know this. Okay, it's September Reds baseball. Okay, Jacob, just don't get overhyped. Okay, just move on. It's football season. Hockey season's coming up too. Just move on. Okay, just forget about baseball. It should be over by now, anyways.
Go to sleep.
Andrew's used to moving on in September when it comes to baseball season because, well, the Tigers.
You're
That's
used to
it.
moving on after November for football season. Oh wait, and basketball.
Not anymore.
Anyways, a game I'm really excited for is the Raiders and Bills. Do the Bills bounce back, or do the Raiders play as well as they did against the Broncos? Which then will prove how good are the Broncos. The Bills couldn't have played worse, in my opinion. And they're a 9. Now, listen to this. They're a 9.5 point favorite over the Raiders in Buffalo. I think that's really, really high. I would have said maybe a field goal based off their performance, but don't understand that. And then the second game that I'm really excited for is Saints Panthers. I think the Panthers might have a little bit of bounce back week. I did not think the Saints were going to be that great. They looked pretty decent in week 1, so can they continue that? We'll see. I mean, the Saints finally have a healthy Michael Thomas, and they always have a good defense. So I think watching to see how that goes against the Heisman winner and Bryce Young, and watching him bounce back will be interesting to see on Monday night with the doubleheader Monday night. Well, I shouldn't say doubleheader, but why they're both playing at like an hour apart from each other doesn't make sense. But you know what? It doesn't matter. Like, I don't know why one didn't start at 5 Eastern, one at 8 Eastern, so that you could have had both games. But whatever. They both teams. They're kind of crap games in anyways. So, to end it here, let's go around and say one word to describe our feeling.
Button,
about
if I say the
football
word
right
I'm
now.
thinking of, I might
Aaron,
we might
one
get
word.
canceled. No.
No, don't say it. Happy, good, Andrew.
I'm going to the bowl, baby, in both college and the NFL. I'm going to the bowl. So the bowl is my word.
Okay, Phil.
By the way, the Bengals do not play the Lions at all this year. Well, in regular season.
You're not.
And my word to describe football this year, specifically NFL, is the word choke.
I was really holding my breath on what word I was about to come out of your mouth. Mine is invigorating. Invigorating.
It's a big word for you, Jake. I'm surprised you can pronounce that.
Hey, I may be a teacher of music, but it does not mean I don't know words.
Okay.
All right. Hey. So this is more Sports Podcast with yours truly, Jacob Butzine, alongside Aaron Klinker, Andrew Schultz, and the Big Phil Fathman. Phil, play us out of here.